name is Jonah Jonathan. Welcome once again to New York City Jazz Musician's Voice. Today I've had the great opportunity of interviewing a true jazz bass legend, Bill Lee. Bill was born in Spike Hill, Alabama in 1928, and he's been on the New York City jazz scene for well over 50 years. Bill and his wife Susan sat down with me on the front steps of their brownstone in Brooklyn and gave me a really great documentation on his life. Bill's wife Susan was really great, especially because she helped out fill in moments where Bill had trouble remembering, and she's really knowledgeable and a great support to him. Bill's son Arnold, who's a great saxophonist, helped set up this interview, and I'm really grateful to him for helping make this happen. Bill is the father of 6 amazingly talented children, including filmmaker Spike Lee. And he's just really a great creative guy and really helpful towards fostering his children's development. And Bill has worked with some really great jazz names, including Harold Mayburn, Frank Strozier, Johnny Griffin, and Clifford Jordan. And he's just really an amazing bass player. In addition to that, he helped found the New York Bass Violins Choir, and he wrote some really great bass folk jazz operas for this. And he's also the founder of the Natural Spiritual Music Orchestra, which still performs and plays some really great compositions, including some of Bill's. He writes amazing compositions. Bill is really an excellent composer, and he's written music for Spike Lee's films, including Do the Right Thing, She's Gotta Have It, Mo Better Blues, and others. I mean, he's written music for so many great films. I hope you guys really enjoy watching this, and let's help Bill in celebrating his recent 83rd birthday. Really amazing, you know, and a true trooper on the jazz scene here in New York City. Before we get to the videos, I'd just like to ask that you subscribe to this video series and continue watching. And I just wanted to mention that my friend Brett Primack, who's also known as the Jazz Video Guy, has a lot of great videos on his YouTube channel, and I hope you guys check his out and subscribe to it. He's got well over 19 million views and over 700 videos, so he's got some really great stuff on there, including some wonderful interviews with cats such as Mulder Miller and Sonny Rollins. So check that out, and hopefully you guys will continue watching and stay tuned. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today I have the unique opportunity of being able to speak with jazz bass player Bill Lee. Now, Bill, could you tell us about how you first got started in music? It was a very long time ago.
Well, I was born in a kind of circumstance. My father was a trumpet player.
Okay.
And there was Arnold Lee, played clarinet, Clarence Lee, played trombone, Consuelo Lee, played piano, and I sang. At that time, I didn't play an instrument. Oh, I played drums. Wait a minute. Whoa. I sang and played drums.
Okay.
And then there was Grace, she sang. And Lynn and Cliff were too young to play anything.
Okay.
Those are your brothers and sisters.
They were all brothers.
Okay,
and sisters.
So you worked with your family in the beginning. And that's
well,
kind of
my
how
mother
you got...
played piano, but she never played a concert with us. She was a great pianist.
Okay.
My father played cornet. No, trumpet.
Okay. Yeah. So, when you first started, you were born in Alabama.
Yeah, I was just going to say where all this happened.
Okay.
In Snow Hill, Alabama, it's a small community, but my grandfather founded the school.
Okay.
Snow Hill Institute. And it was a high school.
Okay.
But it was well equipped.
Well, that's great. Yeah.
My grandfather, William James Evans, was a great man.
Willie, that school didn't start from the first grade?
Yeah, it was a high school. He went from first to 12th.
Okay.
Of course, he couldn't start on the 12th grade. I think he built it from the first grade.
Okay.
I hadn't thought about that, but he was a great man.
And you guys were able to take music lessons over there and
Yes,
study a little
yes.
bit?
Music was all around.
When did you start playing bass?
I finished Snow Hill Institute. I went to Morehouse.
Okay.
Because music at that time was Charlie Parker was everything. And
Yeah.
and everybody came under them.
Yeah.
And it was such a powerful force that I wanted to play it. And so I picked up the bass and I started playing in Atlanta, Georgia, where Morehouse College is.
Oh, okay.
Now I can't remember how I got my first bass. Bones, do you have any kind?
You told me you got your bass from somebody at Morehouse, that you bought it from one of the
At
students.
Morehouse.
Yeah. For a while, you were playing on a metal bass. They had a metal bass. You remember that?
Yeah, they had a Spelman College had a bass violin.
Actually, Morehouse didn't have a music program, right, Willie? You had to go to Spelman
Okay.
for music.
Oh,
And
wow.
Willis
Yes.
Lawrence James was one of the great teachers that Willie had there. And also, who was the head of that department?
Kemple Harrell.
Kemple Harrell, thank you.
Kemple Harrell was the head man, but Willis
Okay.
Lawrence James, he was the one that everybody, or the jazz guys anyway, said, man, you better go to his classes.
Okay.
And he was a very, very well-known man. And I liked the music that he taught.
Also, Willie sang in the Glee Club, but he was also part
Okay.
of the quartet, because they used, that's how they raised money and still
Okay.
raise money, is they have the Glee Club. But to be in the quartet, you had to be, he wasn't the best singer, but he always says he
Yeah,
was.
Well, singing
sang
is great
bass.
for
The best.
music. Yeah.
Phil
Parker.
Parker, Wendy Whalen, and the last guy sang tenor. Oh, I can't think his name.
Okay.
And there was a bass player there.
Okay.
Pepper was a great bass player in Atlanta, Georgia, and I took lessons under him.
Okay. Yeah. So, what kind of as a bass player, what kind of work did you guys work on? Classical technique or?
Well, it wasn't a classical technique because I never had a classical teacher. Well, we were playing jazz,
Okay.
and blues was one of the forms that we played.
God bless you.
Excuse me.
Blues was
Yeah.
one of the forms that we played, but we played standards. All the composers, Gershwin and a lot of white composers.
Yeah, a lot of-
Porter,
a lot of
Rodgers and
the-
Hammerstein, those
Who?
guys. Cole Porter.
Cole Porter, yes.
Great American Songbook.
Right.
So, after you learned bass, what happened next? Did you move to New York or?
Well, I finished Morehouse,
Okay.
and the jazz community in Atlanta wasn't as it wasn't what could I say, as busy as Chicago.
Okay.
So when I finished Morehouse, and I got on a train and I went to Chicago.
So you took the train to Chicago, and what happened next? You started playing on the scene there.
Chicago is kind of segregated. So I went to the
Sure.
South Side.
Okay.
That's where all the colored people stay.
Yeah.
And I just went jamming,
Okay.
and it was very easy to just fall right in.
Fall right in. Yeah. So, could you tell us some of the names you began working with in Chicago?
Vaughn Freeman.
Okay.
He was a tenor player. And, well, somehow they didn't have a lot of bass players. They had some great bass players. I'll think of that name. One of the bass players played with Sarah Vaughan.
Okay.
But he stayed in Chicago.
Israel Crosby, you're talking. You're talking about Israel Crosby?
Israel Crosby.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Vaughn, thank you very much. These names fly by me.
It's all right. It's all right. It's really great to get an insight into this period of time back in the day for us younger cats, you know, to learn about your experience. So, in Chicago, do you have any memorable stories about performing in Chicago?
Well, mostly we played 4 and 5 pieces.
Okay.
Maybe a trumpet and a tenor and piano, bass, and drums.
Okay.
Israel Crosby, Vernon Fournier played drums. And
but you met a lot of musicians there, Willie. You met Johnny Griffin there.
Yeah, Johnny Griffin, a tenor player.
Okay.
Billy Wallace there.
Who?
Billy Wallace.
Billy Wallace.
Chris,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
just
Billy
about
Wallace was the guy
everybody.
that played piano. Chris Anderson,
Right.
Yeah.
Jody Christian.
pianist.
I mean, just about everybody.
Yeah. Did you meet Harold Mayburn over there?
Yeah, met Harold Mayburn there. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, right.
So, yeah.
Frank Strozier, great alto player.
Great. And then, when did you make your way over to New York?
Well, how did I leave for New York? Whoa. How long did
Well,
I...
you said you came once to New York, but you didn't think you were ready. But you actually made the move in 1959, I think.
Same year as Mayburn, then, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I thought my time was up in Chicago because it's playing the same thing and not making any progress.
Okay,
We weren't
yeah.
recording. We weren't playing no major spots. We played at some of the clubs. I might think of them,
The
but
hi-hat, was that one of them? No?
hi-hat. I can't think of the name of it. It might come to me later.
Okay. Coming to New York, you came in 1959.
Well, when I first came here, there was a club called The Flame
Okay.
where a lot of guys jammed, and that's where I went.
Okay.
That was in the village. And The Flame was there. That's where all the jazz musicians played.
Great.
So,
So there must have been a lot of hot music.
Yeah.
And could you tell us now? You were speaking about the 5-spot. Harold Mayburn said he used to hang out with you over at the 5-spot with some other cats as well, Paul Chambers and he said it was after Monk's time over there, but.
Well, George Coleman and Frank Strozier were always there.
Okay.
And some of the people, their names I've forgotten. I shouldn't have, but I've forgotten a lot.
No, it's okay. You know.
Frank Strozier was a monster.
Yeah, and when you guys hung out over there, what did you guys talk about? You talk about the music or life things or?
Well, we just talked about the music, and because somebody always had, you know that.
Yeah. Okay.
And somebody if you didn't know it, you just step aside and you might learn it right there.
Okay.
Because we'd walk over to the piano and see what he's playing. And
So it was a place where you could brainstorm musical ideas and.
So what?
and it was a place where you could brainstorm musical ideas and learn things from each other. Okay, well, now moving on. You've played bass for some real major names. You know, you played bass for Bob Dylan and
go ahead, name them. Go ahead.
Aretha Franklin. You played with Cat Stevens, Harry Belafonte, Simon and Garfunkel. You know, could you tell us about how you got into working with such big names? You know?
My introduction to the folk people, that was different from the jazz. But
Yeah,
Josh
yeah.
White, was a very famous folk singer.
Okay.
And he was the first one that called me. Odetta was another freshman. She was the bass player.
Okay.
Those two, I mostly played with them.
Okay.
Either
You
Josh
put Judy
White.
Collins too. Judy Collins.
Oh, Judy Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Judy Collins. She was a white lady.
Okay.
Odetta's was a black woman, and Josh White was a black man.
Okay. And working with them, at some point you must have made the switch to electric bass.
Made a switch.
Bass
from
bass
what?
guitar. Did you
No.
ever use bass
No,
guitar?
I never. I just used the bass. Yeah.
Okay.
I
You
never.
used the
I never played a bass guitar.
okay.
And no amp either, John.
No amp.
No.
Wow.
That's how the bass violin choir got started.
Okay. And
You know about the bass violin choir?
I heard a little bit about it. Could you speak more on the bass violin choir?
Yeah, well, I don't know how it got started, but Richard Davis was the first player.
Okay,
Lyle
great player.
Atkinson was second. Ron Carter was the third.
Okay.
Michael Fleming was the fourth.
Yeah.
It's
Milt
about
Hinton.
7 guys. I said Sam Jones.
There
Yeah.
were 7.
Who?
7. There were 7.
Yeah, there
You?
were 7.
Well, it changed a little bit over, but the main guys were Richard Davis,
Yeah.
Ron Carter,
Michael Fleming.
Michael Fleming, Lyle Atkinson, Milt Hinton, Sam Jones, and Willie. But
Right,
I think
yeah.
you said it started out as Professionals Unlimited because they brought in, before that, nobody was even playing with an amp.
Yeah.
And you thought you were going to be phased out, and you didn't want to play with the amp. So
Yeah.
you said that's why you started just as a professional group of bass players, but then you decided that you wanted to perform, and I guess Willie was the most qualified to write
Okay.
parts for 7 basses, and
Yeah.
and you were writing. Then you were writing your folk jazz operas, right, Willie?
Yeah.
So you incorporated some of that, right,
Yeah.
into with the
Bass
The
violin
bass
choir
violin
was,
choir.
the, was
Great,
the,
great,
the
yeah.
background for the gee whiz. Can you think of any operas?
yeah, your operas. You have the Depot, 1 Mile East, the Quarters, Song for a School Day, Colored College, Baby Sweets, Before This Time Another Year.
Okay. And with the bass choir, so it was all basses. And what were some of the places you guys performed at?
Well, let's see. Where did we perform? I can't remember.
Colleges.
Colleges, huh?
Yeah, didn't you do something for Joe Papp too? In like the festivals in the park, but a lot of colleges.
Okay.
And also, didn't that spur? Then you had the drum choir, you had Boom, and the piano choir
Yeah.
came after that.
Okay.
Yeah, we gave birth to them.
Okay.
Max Roach was the head of the drum choir.
Okay. So you were really the founder of a movement of cats playing the same instrument, working together, which sounds, amazing. For people who aren't familiar, you are also the father of filmmaker Spike Lee, and
Oh yeah.
you helped to compose some music for his films.
Yeah, but I did do that.
And what was it like being a composer, working on film scores?
Well, it was all enjoyable, and I was ready for it because I was writing for the bass choir first,
Okay.
and I was writing for a large orchestra too. I had started with Natural Spiritual Orchestra
Okay.
and writing for the.
And were there any particular cats you learned from as far as writing, or was it more of a self-taught?
My learning in music started with my mother and father.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So
You just learned
picked
from.
the paper up and started writing.
That's great. Yeah. I mean.
One person I think you said influenced you in writing was Lance Hayward, Willie.
Al Hayward.
Lance Hayward.
Lance Hayward, a
Because
black
didn't
man.
Lance say something about
A blind man.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Was about writing like for voices or within the range of the instrument. I know Lance, I can't remember what he said, but he gave you you don't remember that? A little clue about writing.
Lance
Okay.
Hayward was a great musician. He was blind, a pianist.
You ever heard of Lance Hayward?
No, I haven't, but there's so many names. I'll look him up. Yeah, definitely. We were talking earlier. You were inspired heavily by John Coltrane. Could you tell us about John?
Yeah, I was inspired by a lot, but first let me just mention Charlie Parker.
Okay.
Charlie Parker was the father, I thought, of the whole jazz era.
Yeah.
Because the music was but he smoothed da 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 in
Yeah.
real phrases in sentences in paragraphs.
Okay.
So and then everybody got their own style.
Sure.
There's John Coltrane and a whole lot of people.
Did you ever get a chance to see Bird play?
One time, Dizzy Gillespie, I spent a lot of time in Chicago, and
Okay.
Dizzy Gillespie's band was there, and he had Bird as his visitor. As his
Okay.
that was probably the first time that I saw Bird.
Okay. And so when you first saw him, you must have been amazed, you know.
Yeah, sure. Diz just stood back and just let him play.
But you heard Bird on records before you met him, right, Bill?
Yeah, I heard him.
Yeah.
I heard him on Miles of Time, his first record.
Because you had said that when you were at Morehouse, like one of your first day or so at Morehouse, that somebody asked you who your favorite saxophone player was or something. And I don't remember exactly. You might have said Don Bias or something. I don't remember. You don't remember this, Willie?
Go
and
ahead.
they said, well, I want to play. Have you ever heard of a guy named Charlie Parker?
And I said no, right?
And you said no. And then you went and you changed your major. You were a physical education major. And I think after you heard Bird, you made music your major and phys ed your minor. You remember that?
No, I don't remember it, but
Well, I hope I have the story
but that's
right.
what happened.
That's what you.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
I remember.
that's
you
what
said
happened at Morehouse College because
Yeah.
I was a basketball star in high school.
Okay.
So I thought I could play college ball, but I was too small.
Yeah. Well, it's okay if you don't remember. It's great to document this. You know, I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be happy to hear what you have to say. We talked about you working with the folk musicians.
Yeah.
What was it like playing with them? I mean, because they were such big names. I mean, Bob
Judy
Dylan.
Collins.
I mean, Judy Collins. You know.
And Odetta and Josh White. Those were the main people that I worked with. But I played at I think I played at the festival,
Right.
George Reed's festival.
That's
Okay.
another place. Also, the bass choir played at the Newport Jazz Festival when it was
Yeah.
actually at Newport. Now
Okay.
thinking about that. But were they? Sorry, but
Yeah.
were they as big names when you played with them, Willie, as they were later on? Was Bobby Dylan
Bobby
that
Dylan.
well known when you played with him as he was later on?
Bobby Dylan was he was a youngster
Right.
when I was playing with
Right.
Josh White. but he made a big outcome. He made it big.
Sure. And
Judy Collins, and I didn't play with a lot of folk singers, though I went to the Newport Jazz Festival.
okay.
I can't remember.
Well, you played with Peter, Paul, and Mary, and you played with the Chad Mitchell Trio.
Yeah.
And the Clancy Brothers.
Who?
The Clancy Brothers.
Oh, Clancy Brothers. Yes.
And
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
and hey,
I was probably on the stage. I probably stayed on the stage and played with a lot of other people.
I do remember you saying though that you learned about presentation from the folk singers.
Did what?
Learned about presentation, theatrical
from the folk
presentation from the
music.
folk singers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well,
I mean, when you did that, just to finish off the folk singers, their music must have been a lot less complex than jazz. So did you have to sort of dumb down to their level, or did you have to kind of
well, this was enjoyable.
adjust?
I started working with, I think I started working with Josh White first.
Okay.
And his music wasn't complicated. Folk music is simple.
Yep.
And Odetta heard me, then she called. And Judy Collins. And who else?
I guess what Joan is saying though, was that an adjustment for you to make because the music is simpler than what you were playing?
No,
with
it was
the jazz?
enjoyable because nobody dictated to me what to play or how to play it.
Okay.
So I enjoyed it.
You had a lot of freedom to on the bass.
Willie,
Okay.
you were the house bass player at the Gator Horn in Chicago.
Yeah, at Gator Horn, I played there. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which was, I think, the first place.
Yeah. I don't know how I hooked up with Josh. Probably Josh White. Probably the first one, and some other folk singers heard me and they said, well, I was employed to play for them.
Okay.
One thing about the folk singers, though, I think, is that they played these big auditoriums, right? And you had a big stage, and you'd have a lot of people. You know, the venue,
Okay.
right, was on a high level.
So, moving on, some album appearances that you've made. I wanted to speak about, let's say, working with Harold Mayburn. You played on his album A Few Miles from Memphis on Prestige, and also Rakin' and Scrappin'. Could you talk about those Prestige sessions with Harold Mayburn, working with Mayburn?
I've forgotten all about it. I didn't even know. We made a record together?
Yeah, you made a couple of records with
Ooh.
Harold on Prestige Records.
Yeah.
Rakin' and Scrapin', Willie.
Yeah.
You heard it through the grapevine. What was one of the songs on there?
Well, we were just playing jazz. And,
Yeah.
I don't know, you had to know the tunes that we were playing.
Yeah.
Well, obviously got through the session.
Yeah, obviously. And also,
Frank Sturgeon was part of that, probably was that recording too, probably recorded with him.
You don't know the personnel that was on there?
I'm not quite sure about the personnel.
George
the only
Coleman.
person I know for sure is Harold. But I was just wondering if you remember some of the legendary jazz sessions that you were on. You also worked with Clifford Jordan.
Oh yeah, Clifford Jordan. Wow, I miss him.
Yeah.
Clifford was a great saxophone player.
Okay.
I don't remember recording much with Clifford. Does it say that?
Yeah, one.
Adventures is, right?
The one I have here is Glass Bead Games.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That was for Strata
Yeah.
East, though, right?
Yeah, Strata East. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
And I think Coltrane is on Glass Beat Games, right? Is the song John Coltrane on?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm here to ask you guys and learn. You know.
Well, that's why.
I mean,
you got to do your homework because we've forgotten.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to create some homework here because
Right.
it's challenging on the internet, for example, where there's some research done. There's very little on your experiences, so I think people will be very interested to hear as much as we can learn,
Remember.
you know,
Well,
and remember. So, I mean, do you have some memories of some of your favorite experiences as a musician back in the day? Something that you can recall
Something.
that's
Well, let's see. I started playing bass in Atlanta, and I remember the musicians. There was a young man that lived in the city. He was in his teens, James Harris.
okay.
He played piano.
Yeah.
Because I was working at a club called the Ponciano,
Okay.
and John Peake was the trumpet player, and Junior was the pianist.
Okay.
And he was an exceptional musician. He couldn't read music. I mean, he couldn't read it at that time. I don't know what happened afterwards, but he was a great pianist.
You came up with, after playing the bass choir, you came up with the Natural Spirit
Natural Spiritual Orchestra.
Spiritual Orchestra,
And in between there was the brass company too.
the brass company. So,
And the Descendants of Mike and Phoebe is a family group.
okay. And what was the general concept behind that music?
What was the biggest concert?
Well, the concept that you had for that music, you
For
know.
the big band, you're saying?
Yeah, the creative concept that you had as a composer writing for this big band and director.
Well, I don't know. It was just music that I heard, and I wanted to arrange it. And because I didn't arrange many standards.
Okay.
They were all individual
Originals, you say?
originals.
Okay.
And it came from just a small group trying to write, and I don't know, the experiences. Just I don't know if it started in Atlanta or I think it must have been just a natural growing thing, because when I went to Chicago, I don't think I was writing for no big band in Atlanta. I think I started writing for big band in Chicago.
Yeah, you had a book we call the Chicago book with Norman Simmons, right, Will?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
wow.
But what was the reason? Do you remember? Was there a particular reason why you wanted to write for a big band, a larger group?
Well, it wasn't a big band
Well, the
at
natural.
the time. But
I'm
the
saying,
Natural Spirit
yeah.
Orchestra.
When you got to that point, what made
Yeah.
what made you want to write for that size orchestra?
Well,
Do you remember?
I don't remember, but if I was started writing and I write for small, I said, well, let me try something larger. Because I just didn't go jump to it from a 5-piece band to a 17, 18, 19-piece orchestra.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I just took it in steps.
You might want to say what might fit in here is your concept of arranging, Willie. Right? You don't arrange so much vertic. You say you like each line is a melody. You know what I'm saying? You should.
Yeah. Instead of writing upside down, I write straight across.
You mean vertical?
There's a big
Vertical,
difference in pieces.
Okay.
And you can find a melody for each part to fit instead of going this way, you like
Okay.
this way. So it was just a practice.
It was a practice.
And I started, go ahead, what you start saying.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's amazing that you were able to compose and arrange a big band. It's not an easy feat, you know. It's a challenging thing to do. So the fact that you were able to do that and then eventually also compose music for your son's films, you know.
Well, that helped.
It helped.
The big
you know.
band helped, and I think actually Spike seeing the big band made him want to do something even bigger.
Okay.
But when Willie wrote, I hope you don't mind.
Yeah,
Jonah,
no, it's great.
But you never wrote for strings until you wrote for Spike.
No, yeah, Spike was the first one.
So I think that's personally, I think that's pretty amazing just to
be able to
do it.
Not
just
go to school
throw
to
in
do
it.
this.
Yeah. Well, you did go to school, but it's not
Yeah,
in
it
school
wasn't-
that
it wasn't it.
we know
Yeah.
of.
You couldn't find no jazz school that was teaching this then.
So Bill, I wanted to ask you about your son Arnold. Arnold plays saxophone, and I'm sure you had a great hand in getting him started in jazz.
Well, he did it all by himself. Because I never played a wind instrument.
Okay.
I never played it, and I have no idea what it's about.
I want to speak about your time here in New York, because this series that I'm doing is called the New York Jazz Musician's Voice. So we're here at your house in Brooklyn. Could you tell us some memories of any memories you have of your time here in New York? Memories that stand out to you being here in New York.
Well, New York is the epitome of jazz to me.
Okay.
I don't know. It just seems to be the place that all the great jazz musicians want to live or experience.
Yeah.
And I find it to be just that. You know, all the great musicians come here, and through business, just from an attempt to want to play and to be heard here.
Yeah. And living here in Brooklyn, have you done any performances in the last few years? I know I saw a brief video of you playing with your orchestra, your Natural Spiritual Orchestra. But do you have any notable performances in the last few years? You can think of?
I might have to help you with that.
Okay.
Willie, you were at the at Barge Music.
Barge music?
You know the barge on the river?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you had, I think, a sextet. You did that a couple times. One time it was with Andy Hunter, trombone player, Arnold, Courtney Bryan was on piano. I think Casa played drums that time. You playing bass, and Adam Brenner played tenor, and then you did it again for your birthday, which was with, I think, R1 Ortiz, Plume, Adam Brenner again, and I think Dave Gibson. And then there was a couple, let me see, Kashasa, which is a club that's no longer here on 8th Street.
Yeah.
You know, you brought your sextet, you did 3 nights there.
Okay.
And J.D. Allen played with you there, and Jerome Jennings, Chris Beck. We had to get a multitude of people. And
Okay.
mostly the big band's been playing, you know. So,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I just think about the next gig. I can't hardly. My memory's so bad out there.
Okay. Well,
that's okay. Think about the next one. Can't remember the last one?
when's the next one? When's that coming? 'Cause, when's the next gig coming? 'Cause
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure
that's
people are
well, it'll
wanting
be
to hear
soon
you.
because the guys they recently just started rehearsing that,
Okay.
and I have to look harder for gigs for us to play.
Sure. You will,
And
you know.
But I book around the corner, you know, Joan.
It's great,
At a
yeah.
little club. I mean, it's just about, it's mostly trio stuff, but you might want to give them a plug. Can I give them a plug or no? It's called the Sans Souci.
Sans Souci.
Sans
Okay.
Souci restaurant. It's a Caribbean restaurant, and every Thursday night we do a jazz night.
Okay.
And it trio, but sometimes the guys will, you know, might be quartet or 5 pieces, but it's really tiny. But the music is on a very high level, and we want to get the word out.
Yeah.
And as soon as we get it together, Bill might do a 5-piece thing there, you know, just bass, drums, and 3 horns.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm sure people will love to hear your music and check this out. Do you have anything else you would like to say before we wrap up this interview? Anything else about your time playing jazz? Because you are now a legend. Let's play for a long time, and the younger cats. Do you have advice for them? Do you have something to say about the music?
well, all I can say is just play as much as you can. If it's 24 hours a day, just do it. Because I don't know, it's a great blessing to have some musical talent, and don't throw it away.
Well, thanks so much, Bill. I hope I wish you many more years of successful playing, and your 83rd birthday is coming up soon, right?
So what birthday?
Your birthday's coming up soon, right?
the July 20th, I'll be 83. Was that right?
Right.
83. Yeah.
23rd.
And what's the date?
Today is the 6th.
July 6th. Yep. So
The
it's
6th.
coming up soon.
Yeah, to be around here. I'll be 83.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, and cats, check him out.
Okay.
So Bill's gonna play a little something for us. Could you tell us a little bit about this bass? The bass that you're playing.
I didn't understand.
Could you tell us
the history of your bass?
the history of your bass?
Oh, oh, wow.
Well, it's a king bass, right, Willie?
Huh?
It's a king, right?
Yes, a king.
And it's plywood, right? It's a plywood bass.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
It's plywood. It's not
I don't
a
even know.
solid wood
I don't
bass.
Yeah, it
know.
looks like-
I got it. I don't have it.
But it wasn't a when Willie was playing at the Boondocks. Remember, Willie? You played at a place called the Boondocks.
Boondocks. Where is that?
That was on the west side, a club on the west side. You played there with Lance Haywood, and there was a fire there.
Oh.
And you
Uh-oh.
said that it got kind of smoked. It was the only thing that wasn't destroyed because it was there. I guess you left it there because you were coming back to play.
Yeah.
And it kind of got smoked and a little water on it. But after that, it improved. You said it improved the sound. So it's a plywood bass, but it has a really good sound.
Yeah, it has a beautiful sound coming out of it.
Let me think of it. Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
no-
Yeah.